At this point, there are only two issues apart from the vaccination situation in terms of traveling to the Philippines. One is the PCR test. For some of you, it's not a problem. You can get the result right away. You don't have to wait for 2 or 3 days. In my case, for example, in Pennsylvania, or at least where I live, near Philadelphia, there is no guarantee I can get it in 2 days. They said, oh, you may be able to get it, but we cannot guarantee that. So that is an issue for me. The other issue, not for me, but for others, is this travel insurance. Travel insurance is what we're going to talk about. And I'm going to share with you 3 comments I received from viewers and also my phone call to the Philippine Airlines. Stay with me. That's what we'll talk about. I received 3 comments from my viewers and I will review them with you and then judge for yourself what you plan to do or what you are going to do. The thing is, if you are not able to get a policy, or not a policy, at least a letter from the insurance company that says, 1, you're covered for COVID, 2, you're covered when you're in the Philippines or overseas, and 3, minimum of 35,000. Those are the 3 factors. If you can get it, you're good. Okay, you will be able to go through and use that. And how I concluded that, I called Philippine Airlines because they're the ones who know the most about the Philippine idiosyncrasies. And that's the reason why I took the time to call Philippine Airlines, and I will let you listen to the discussion. But first, let's take a look at the comments I received. This one, 16 hours ago, came from Push Slice, making a follow-up comment here about my travel insurance experience. I checked in on my San Francisco to Manila flight 2 days ago with 2 letters in hand from Kaiser, specifically stating that I'm covered for any hospital emergency. They even enclose in parentheses, including COVID, overseas. So that's good. Initially, the PAL agent would not accept it. She went to another, more experienced colleague to reconfirm, and that agent said the same thing, that they need to see in writing that the coverage amount being greater than $35,000. So, the first test was met, mentioned COVID, and the next one did not, because it did not mention $35,000. I explained to them that my health insurance carrier would not put that specific detail in writing. I begged and pleaded. I even offered to open up my Philippine bank account app on my phone and show them that I had enough money there to cover my medical expenses. My pathetic begging must have been too much for them to bear, LOL, because after a little bit more back and forth, finally, the lead agent just ended up letting it go. She approved my documentation. I think because of so many additional passengers waiting behind me to check in, it was a pragmatic decision to unclog the process in that moment. I cannot vouch that others will get the same result, however. So, I made it to Manila, but still, it could have easily gone the other way. It's such a wasted energy by the government to insist on this level of scrutiny. And guess what? The government does not even care. Listen, if you don't have a document and it gets checked, because it gets checked in the Philippines, the airline will be liable. But the Philippine government doesn't care. It's up for the airlines because that's money for them, for the insurance companies. Okay? So, ridiculous. Next one. Patrick. Hi, Vlogger Grandpa. This one is 23 hours ago. I have some great news to share with you and your readers. About a month ago, I received a letter from my medical insurance, which I've had for over 40 years, stating that my insurance coverage was 1. International, 2. Unlimited, and 3. For all medical conditions including COVID-19. That also included COVID-19. Even though I asked, they did not want to state any specific amount, not even in excess of 35,000. I started looking for reasonably priced travel insurance, but for 3-month travel medical coverage for a person of my age, 75, all the insurances are incredibly expensive. We are going to talk about that too on my next vlog. Not on this one, on the next vlog. Out of desperation this morning, I called my insurance company again. I explained my situation, and after being transferred to the overseas claims unit, I spoke with a very understanding individual who, within minutes of my call, sent me an email, a revised letter of coverage, soon to be followed by paper letter, with the magical words, provides benefit totaling 35,000 or more. See, if you're persistent, you may be able to hit somebody who's got enough brain and take the risk of writing it up, because 35,000, that is so small in the United States. Most coverages go 1 million, 2 million. Oof, guy. That's dollars, not pesos. For those of you that already have international coverage through your present current medical insurance, you may want to call them again and again and see if they will add the required language. May everybody have a great day. So he's lucky. He was able to get it. Just be persistent. I mean, if you want to go through the hassle of doing that, okay? The other alternative is just to buy a 30-day policy, and as long as you can show something that says, travel, COVID, 35,000, overseas. You got it, right? Let's see the next one. Hi, Vlogger Grandpa. Hoping all is well with you and your fellow subscribers. I just wanted to make a comment. My wife, her parents, and myself arrived in Cebu today from Toronto via Doha, and I will like to share my experience. Checking in at Toronto Pearson, the agent verified that I had required documents, which was PCR test within 48 hours of departure, One Health Pass, QR code, COVID-19, travel insurance. She did not ask to see the amount, so they didn't even care. And vaccination certificate. Once the documents were provided, the check-in process went smoothly. Please note that are planning on staying in Cebu for 4 months, and as such, I have a return ticket for 4 months, and I'm using the Balikbayan program as my wife is a Filipino citizen. Upon arriving in Doha, Qatar, again we are asked to verify our travel documents, and here the person going through my documents was specifically looking for COVID-19 insurance coverage, which I actually printed out a copy. She informed me that she was looking for the amount of the insurance, so the next one ask for that, and if at that point I can point it out to her. In my case, I had coverage for the 121 days that would be staying in Cebu, and coverage is up to 5 million Canadian if fully vaccinated, which I am. Arriving in Cebu, the process went through without a hitch. At point of entry, I presented all required documents, including arrival card. After that, I went to customs and presented customs forms, and that was it for us. I know that each traveler has their own experience, and I just wanted to share ours. So you will notice in this particular email, he did not say if when he checked in Cebu, if they asked for the travel insurance, but it doesn't look like. It looks like that travel insurance is only getting checked when you check in at the airline, to board the airline. After that, Philippines doesn't care. It's up for the airline to enforce that. Now, here's the discussion I had with Philippine Airlines. And I called Philippine Airlines because they know more compared to other airlines what the rules are and what is required, what is not required. You have to bear in mind that the people we're dealing with here are not the decision makers. They're strictly, if I may call it that, clerical people who are just there following orders, following the computer. This is what you need, this is what you need. They are not allowed to exercise judgment. The very first one exercised the judgment, and probably that's just out of frustration because the guy was very, very persistent. And if you can do that, or if you want to take that gamble, go ahead and do it. But let's listen to what Philippine Airlines had to say.
Well, what if a foreigner already has insurance that covers them in the Philippines? The dilemma I have is I'm asking them to give me a letter saying that I'm covered for COVID up to 35,000 because I understand that is what is required, correct?
Yeah.
And they said, no, well, they can only give me a letter based on what is said on the policy. And the policy says, I'm covered for emergency situation with no limit. That means more than 35,000. It does not say COVID, and it does not say 35,000. Would that be acceptable? Because I am covered when I'm traveling overseas.
So your concern is regarding with the amount that's covered by your travel insurance, correct?
Yes, my regular insurance here in the United States covers me, yes. But it does not specify COVID-19, it specifies emergency, and COVID is emergency if I get hospitalized.
This information is only provided and given to Philippine Airlines by our Philippine government. And as you read on the website, sir, on our page, that insurance policy presented must reflect the minimum coverage of $35,000 for COVID-19 treatment. So everyone required that need to present a document that at least with this minimum amount of coverage and should be stated on the policy of the travel insurance we availed.
Wow.
So that is the thing that we need for all passengers that we need and try to convey, sir.
Okay.
We're just following what is imposed by the Philippine government.
There you go. As you can see, Philippine Airlines really said, and they're following the rules, COVID-19, $35,000 coverage in the Philippines. Nobody talked, including Philippine Airlines, about the duration. Well, when she was reading one of the policies, she may have read for the duration of your stay. But the policy says that for the duration of your stay. But a lot of people I have heard were just buying 30-day policies. And if it is inexpensive, it may be better for you to just buy the cheapest policy you can get, because you don't care about insurance, because you have your own insurance in case you get sick in the Philippines. I'm assuming you do. So the policy, for example, if I'm the one getting it, I'm covered, so I don't care for insurance. So if I buy travel insurance, it's just to get rid of the policy. Of course, I will never buy a $500 policy, and I'll never buy a one year policy because that will cost so much money. But if they're not even looking for the term, you're covered for COVID up to $35,000. If that's all they're checking, they don't care about the coverage, that's all I'm going to do. I would buy the cheapest, even though at the end of the day they will not cover you. I don't care. I just want that piece of paper. If it just costs me $25 up to $50 maybe, it's not worth the hassle. Just go ahead and get that. So in my next video, hopefully tomorrow, we will talk about how to get your travel insurance, or where to get it, what is the cheapest you can get, at least as far as I can see. Okay, so this is all I wanted to share with you today. Hopefully it's helpful, and I'll appreciate it if you click like, and please do subscribe to my channel unless you have already done so. Make it a great day, and God bless.